Hi, hi guys, welcome to this live. This is my first time to come to this live, and thank you so much. Most of you have not been knowing me. I'm Nex, and I'm the one been giving you all these updates. Okay. Hi guys, welcome. Let us try to share. Let us try to discuss on a few things that we definitely need to know and a few things that we definitely need to understand, especially when it comes to the Gulf countries. I know most of us will come to these Gulf countries and we've got through what we call situations. The situations are quite alarming. Situations that have gone us in a way that we find ourselves in a kind of essence, which is not something that's really very good. So we get in that situation that we need to get out of this, which is we need to share all together and we need to do all together with all ourselves. We want to get through what we call the question and answer. Then we are going to understand exactly what scenario, what do you need to do, and in what situation, what do you need to do, which is quite very, very important. Most of us have come to these Gulf countries, especially people who have come to Qatar. Yes, things are not that easy as the people talk about before. For people who came in 2000, people who came in 2000, I think the situation is quite very different in one or the other. And you find that the things are not actually the way they are supposed to move. Some companies are closing out, some companies are coming up, people are losing jobs, people are stranded, people are not having jobs, some of them are stranded in those accommodations. But what could be the reasons and how do you definitely need to save yourself, which is quite very important as you're coming to these Gulf countries. First of all, one more thing that you need first to prepare is just first prepare your mindset, which is quite very, very important. Prepare your mindset that I'm going to work and this is what I'm going to do. Lower the expectations, which is quite very important. Your expectations for the job should not be higher unless you are going for a professional job. But you need to understand, every country that you go to, there is what you call the labor laws. And those labor laws in those countries will definitely have to be applicable, or they work in any situation, or they will be working in any way that you definitely need to understand. Yes, the number priority that I talk about very many as we come to these countries is first, you need to pass what we call the medicals. Once you get to pass the medicals, what is your next step? And what exactly is the next step that you need to understand is, once you pass the medicals, you get your QID, yes, you are eligible to work in the country. Most of us will fall in what we call the medicals. Why? Because we do not tend to track the history that we had with the medicals in our country. Or we've used hospitals or health centers from our countries which do not give us exactly what we have. So when we come here, they have much more specialized machines that will definitely have to detect each and everything. So you find out you're failing the medicals itself. Your employer, it is no issue for him. Once you fail the medical, he has no problem with you. He will deport you and take you back to the country. That's what you need to understand. for the visa, for the air ticket for the employer, it's not an issue for him. Once you fail the medical, he will definitely have to take you back to your country. So make sure as you come to this country, either the input you put in that company, let's say that's a recruiting agent, make sure that you also yourself, you are physically fit. The chest is okay, the blood test is okay, such that when you come here, you don't have to lose the two things at a time. You lose the job, you lose the input you put in that agent, so all get out of your hand. So what did you have to do as a person is that you also need to prepare yourself prepare your, what you call your mindset. Yes, most of us come here, we look at a healthy card, we talk about things of the health card, we talk about things of changing jobs, we talk about the salary. What are the kind of the compulsions that you need to understand, and what are those compulsions that you need to have for yourself? Yes, we look at most of these compulsions, or we look at most of these salaries. For example, depending on where we are coming from and how we are coming from. Yes, there are different compulsions, there are different salaries for each different particular job that you definitely need to understand, or you need to know for one thing. Yes, hi bro from India. Yes, hi guy, welcome to this channel. Yes, welcome to this live. This is my first live since I joined YouTube because of the busy schedule, but hopefully I can try to deliver and we have something that we can join together and share together. So when you look at most of these salaries, salary will depend on what kind of job you are doing, what kind of company you are working for, what is your profession, and how the company can be able to compensate you, which is quite very important. Yes, you will not be a cleaner or be a security guard and you expect to get 3,000 or 4,000. Maybe that's if you have a different role that is being given to you in the company, that is added in that company, the role, then probably you will see that you have something that's a little bit better than that. That is quite understandable. So what about when we look at other situations? Yes, the job, the company, the kind of position you have in that job, which is also quite very important. So you find that sometimes the salary of the salary will definitely depend on the role, will depend on your contract, will depend on the company. That, and a few of compensation, we look at overtime, which most of people don't consider, but we also look at overtime, which has to be paid to you in one way or the other. So you find that sometimes most of those things that we get in the country, or when we come to Qatar or any Gulf countries, we have to look at those things as very important. I talk about the contracts. Yes, people when we are signing the contracts. So I know the first time, including me the first time when I was traveling, I was super excited. I wouldn't even have time to read through what the contract was saying. It's later I realized that my contract was unlimited contract for 5 years, meaning that my sponsor would have a right to be with me for 5 years of not even letting me go out. So when you look at such kind of situations, that it's the contract that I did not understand well, or contract that I did not understand the contract well, that made me to coin me and put me in that position, which I do not want you to fall into culprit of the same in this situation or in these years that we are. Read the contract thoroughly. If you happen to have a real background of that company, research about the company. You can Google out, research the company, look at the company, then know the company that you are coming for. Not every company is good. I'll say that. Not every company is good. Some companies may be good, some companies are not good, some companies are bad. So it will all depend on the contract and how you definitely chose the company, or which kind of company is going to be going to. But remember, the salary will also be ranging from 1,000 to 1,300. That is according to the law. Unless your position requires you, or unless your position there is an extra amount of money that is supposed to be, and depending on which kind of working hours that you are working in that company. But apart from that, Your salary is going to be ranged, or is going to be ranged in what you call the basic pay, which should include what you call the 8 hours of that time. So, meaning that if you work for 8 hours, yes, you'll be paid a basic salary of 1,300 for food. That is according to the law. And if the company is going to give you for what you call a housing allowance, definitely you are not going to receive the 500. But if the company is not giving you the house allowance, that means at that time you will have to be entitled to 1,800, which is the 500 for the housing allowance, then also what you call 300 for food allowance, depending on which companies. Some companies may decide not say to give you the food allowance, which is 300, and they may decide to give you food, give you morning breakfast, give you lunch, and maybe give you dinner. Those are 3 meals that are supposed to be given as entitled by the law. 3 meals that you're supposed to get: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if the company decides to do that, then definitely that will not be entitled to what we call the 300. Then let us try to look at accommodations itself. Yes, most of us, when we come here, the expectations are too high, we get into that. Yes, shared accommodations. If you're a newcomer, you must definitely know exactly that you're going to live what you call a shared accommodation, which is quite very important for you. Because when you live in that accommodation, definitely, one thing that you definitely need to understand, that you need to co-share with other people from different countries. So when you co-share with other people from different countries, what does it mean to you? That is, there's what we call in spirit, we call what we call cultural impression, one way or the other, different cultures, different people. So you have to learn how to live with those kind of different people, one way or the other, for you to live in any way or the other at one time. So we find that such kind of things also are very important if you want really to monitor and know that this is what I came for and this is exactly what I need to have for that very, very time. Most of you, when you come to these companies, you cannot open up a bank account for yourself. Especially if you are new, you cannot open up a bank account. That bank account is going to be opened by what you call the company. And the company will only issue with you what you call a company card, which is called an ATM, for you to have your salary to withdraw every time it's being paid by what you call on a monthly basis. Which you will agree with me, most of you have the bank cards that are being given to you. But you cannot get a bank account the first time you come. It's only after you get your residence permit. After you do your medical and you pass your medical, you get your residence permit, that is when only you can be entitled to have a bank account. So most of the companies, what they do is that the first 3 months, they work so hard to see that you have your QID with you. And after you get your QID, there is no reason why the company has to keep your passport for you. You have the right for you to ask that passport from your employer, unless you give that employer a consent for you to keep for your passport, that you cannot keep it for yourself. But still, even if that consent comes, it has to be in what you call writing. It has to be in what you call writing, because definitely what you need to understand is that you need to give what you call a consent. This is an official document. No employer is allowed to keep any passport without the consent. The consent of what you call the employee. It's your right to have your document with you. The only period that will be available to the employer is when he's still chasing up what you call your medicals and he's still chasing up what you call your QID. That fact. So you find that in all those situations, that you find that all these are some of the things that you definitely need to understand as yourself, and you need to be aware. You definitely, as yourself, you need to be aware of what is going on, and you need to know what is in the company, and you know what is the company. Yeah, most of these companies have norms. When you come to most of these countries, they have norms. So when you see the norm of the company, what you need to understand the norm of the company is that you definitely need to know how the company is going to live in one way or the other. How to deal with all things in that company. It's quite very important. Most people may not take it very, very important for it all, but to some it is, because it's going to help you either to live in that company or to work amicably in that company, or not to work in that company. So you definitely need to co-share, and you need to know what exactly is in that company. Then look at the salary and look at the salary itself. Yes, most companies may not pay the salary in time, but it will come at the end of it. That one you also have to agree with it and know that this is the nature of my company. It will pay me salary at every end of the 15 days of the month. So meaning I have to wait for the 15 days, then I'll be paid salary. But it will be paid in you, and it will be transferred to what you call your account that is being opened up by what we call what is being opened up by what we call the company itself. Yes, the very important thing here, I wanted us to look at what we call how you should behave, especially when it comes to the law. Okay, there's a lot of things that definitely most of us we do not know, and we fall into what we call trap, or we fall into trouble, starting from what we call freelancer visas, starting from what we call the employer contracts, then we also starting from the salary, and how different, what is the right way to complain, and what is the right way to follow the procedure. You want to change the job. Yes. Am I eligible to change after my probation? Yes, you can change. Am I eligible to change after 1 year? Yes, you can change. Am I eligible to change after my contract? Yes, you can change. But again, there are some articles, there are some phrases, articles that either will encourage you to change or not to change, depending on where you are and which kind of situation. So, what do you want? Do you want to change after your contract? Yes, you have to change. You have to give a notice period. The notice period now is very important. Most of you, when you want to resign, you think of just going, I'll cancel my QID going. Okay, you cancel your QID, you want to cancel and go. Yes, you cancel your QID, but it will not cancel out the visa, because they need to prepare for you what you call an exit plan, for an exit, for you to go out of the country, which is quite very understandable, and which is quite very important at that way. Okay. So most people do not take it as an essential for it, and you find that, at that situation, you find that you don't get it all at the end of it all, and you fall in trouble after some time. Let's say, for example, you've gotten what we call another opportunity to return into the country. What is the next move that you have? Yes, you have a travel ban, you have any case to pay up. Yes, if you are free, then probably, if you exited the country well, then probably there another opportunity that will be available for you. It will be very easier for you to return into the country. Hi bro, I'm from India. Yes, India Muhammad. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much. So you find that is also gets, yes, the hardest part that we want to talk about is changing job. Changing jobs. What is the only way that we can do, and how do we change job? Hello, hi, Martins Ekitemo. Hello, hi. How are you doing? Yes, the hardest problem that has brought problems here right now is changing sponsors, and changing jobs. But if you are going to change job, there's a lot of things that you definitely need to understand. And today, I want us to discuss. Let us try to share how can you change the job without too much fear, with you moving with what you call confidence and believing in yourself that you can change and you can move to another company and you can go to a higher position. How do you? Yes, most people will talk about changing jobs. You don't need an NOC. You can move up and change up without an NOC. Yes. But yes, you can change without an NOC. But something what you need to understand, you need the consent. You need the consent for your employer to let you go, to let you go. Either he needs to give you that consent through more trash, or he has to deal with it what you call a computer card and to let you go. That is why normally it is you put what you call a reasoning letter. It's quite very understandable. It's quite okay that for you, when you put a reasoning letter, it will be very good for you to get it off in one way or the other. So you find that yourself in one way or the other, you can have it or you can move to another job. But again, something that you need also to understand, that what is the procedure for you to change? What is the procedure for you to change the jobs? What do I need to change the job? Yes, first of all, I need to find the job. I need to get employment offer. I need to get an employment letter from someone who is willing to take me for the new employment. And another criteria that you need to understand is, what is the role of the job? Let's say, for example, you've been a security guard and you want to move to what we call another security company. You do not allow you. As per the ministry, we have what we call the non-competing clause. What we call the non-competing clause here, some of you may not look at that in the contracts. It's what we call a non-competing clause. You cannot move to another company that is dealing in the same line of business. That's what we call a non-competing clause. Reason being that the same company dealing the same product, information from here, it may be a breach of information. That's why the ministry will always first find out, what company have you applied for? Yes, I'm a security guard. Yes, I'm going to a cleaning company, or I'm going to a housekeeping company. Yes, it is okay. But how much salary are you going to get? If you've been earning 1,500 as a security guard, then you are moving to a company and you are going to be paid. You are going to be paid 1,000 less than what you need to, what you had before. Then it is something else. That is something else. I think itself, the ministry is not going to accept that. Reason being that is that you are moving to a company and you are getting to a lower salary compared to what you had before. So your approval is not going to be effective as soon as you expected. That's why to some situation you find that your follow-up is already pending, is not approved for a long period of time, because they still need to take a clarity and look at the adjustments of the salary from where you are and which current company you are going to. Then something also they take to look at the company where you are going. Which company is recruiting? There are some companies that have not been doing well in the business. There is no way they would accept someone to move from a company to a company that has not been doing well regarding the government policies, which has violated the government policies. So they will end up not approve you. So when you want to change that company also, research about the company. Look at the company itself, fine, and research about the company. What is the company? Where am I going? What does the company do? And what is the existence of the company? The companies that are come tomorrow, after 6 months, then after, there is no way. Look at the company that has stood in the market for quite a longer period of time. It will also, you as a person, it will give you what you call the family. It will give you the firm stance of it all for you to live, which is going to benefit you in one way or the other. So when you look at such kind of things, what exactly do you expect? Your approval will be effective, much easier, faster, in a very simple and a very good way. Then, as you're exiting, please make sure that you write what you call a resignation letter. Yes, a resignation letter is very important. I keep on telling you, write a resignation letter, attach a resignation letter. You can carbon copy your supervisor, your manager, and even the human resource. That is how I write my resignation letter, and that's how I wrote it. I made sure I CC the immediate supervisor, I CC the immediate manager, then I also made sure that I CC what we call the human resource. They're all aware that I'm going to resign. They're all aware that I'm putting my resignation. So that one will also help you to move faster without even queries in any way or the other. And if you are to prepare any document, it's attached on the substantial, that the photocopy you have, that you submitted to them, and you wrote to them in due that you are going to resign, and you serve your notice period. So that means they will let you to go, and they will let you to move out in that kind of way. So all those things, think about it. But what are the requirements? Most important is which company you are going to, and what job you are going to, and what is your salary. Yes, when most people have been approved without even an NOC, even myself, I was approved without an NOC to move to a new company. They refused to give me an NOC, but the ministry said no. You cannot go by what we call the ministry. They refuse, and it's like the ministry, okay, sir, fine, we can approve you. You can go, and they'll approve you. So they will call the company, and they'll let you go. You serve your notice period. Until that, you move on. You asserted a new contract. The new current company will assert a new contract, and you'll move off, and we'll go off, which is quite going easier the work. Then we look at how you should handle yourself during what we call the notice period. Yes, make sure you serve that notice period. If it is 2 months, according to what is being stipulated by the Minister of Labour, if the notice message comes that your notice period is for 30 days or 2 weeks, then there is no problem. Serve the notice period until the end, then you tell your current employer or the current recruiter, in the next you will assert a new contract in one or the other. So I think that one, it will enable you to move on to another job without even you hassling or without hassling in one or the other. Hi guys, anything that we need to ask, let us try to share. Let us try to share together. If you're out there, let us try to share. Any question? Today is my first live and I want to get through some of these things. I want us to help one another, and we know that we can move and we can share out and move to help our friends who are coming in this country and who are stranded. I know some of you are out there stranded in one way. Either you don't have an ID when you work with that company for almost 7 months, you don't have an ID. Yes, in this situation, it is either your fault or it's also the fault of your employer. So in those situations, both of them, you definitely need to understand, you need to know that you also have to push the employer, because the ID is what shows that you are eligible to work in the country. Minus the ID, then that's another offense, and that is another problem that you won't face in the country. You'll be getting fines of which, okay, hello, okay, hello. I'm getting on camera. I'm trying to see. Okay. I think it gets clear right now, right? Okay. I think it's okay now. I think it's okay now. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. So anything that you need for that, definitely, that's what you need to understand, and you need to move on. Yes, we are coming for what you call freelancers. Freelancer visa. Okay. Now we can type and same time see. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Martins. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. You know, I'm in office and I decided I would not get to answer all the questions at once, and I was like, okay, I need time, I need to get through this, and I need to answer. So you can ask anything and we can get through it, and we can get to share out in one way or the other, and I think it will be quite okay for us to have. Yes, we looked at what we call the freelancer visas. Really sure, I will tell you, freelancer, that visa belongs to someone. But if you have the opportunity for you to get a job, please make sure where you get that job with that visa. Work well, be a very good person. You never know, this person can recruit you up and can take you up. But right now, what you need to understand, the situation right now in Qatar is not a very good situation regarding what you call the visas and the jobs. They're a little bit strict every single day. Even the employers themselves are a little bit strict every single day. So we are left with only options is that to do what we call the networking. Once we do the networking, then the rest of things will get to work out, which is quite very important. But again, if you are still in that company, I don't know which kind of company you are working for, let's say security guard, especially a cleaning company, just sit down, plan ahead of you. Plan ahead of you. Yes, you are in that job, but make sure you can try to network. Visas now, people are being compiled with visas. Networking. There's a lot of process that you take through what you call the visa at the same time. Okay, I have been following your content since before I entered Qatar. Since August, how can we have a private chat or book a session one-on-one with you? Hey Martins. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just give you my number. After this, you can send me a WhatsApp message on 50545282. I'll get back to you. I can get for you some time, out of the some time, then we can talk and we can share a few things. The mobile number is 50545282. 50545282. That is at Mex. I can get for you some time, then we can sit and have a chat, and we definitely can discuss a few things that we want to know, where I can help, where I can advise. I will definitely do it for free of charge. Okay? Guys, anything that you need to know, anything that you need to ask, please let me know. We can try to chat. Any question I can get through, then I can try to share with you. Anything that you need to share, let us try to share. I can get through you, and we can try to see how we can do with that. Not much, brother, all the time. Hello. Yes, Martin, the reason why most companies don't want freelancers right now, because you find that the companies where you get those visas, some of the companies have closed down. Yes. And most of the professions that are being given in the freelancers are not the same profession that may be reflected by you, the person who's holding that visa. So with the ministry, it becomes very hard for them, especially if they are going to pile up what you call, even compile what you call a salary certificate. Right now, everything is stationed on what you call an online. You can get your salary certificate online, you can get your contract online, you can get everything of you in your QID online. So you find that if a company is going to recruit you with a freelancer visa, it becomes very expensive for them to change, because most of the companies they've not followed what you call the legal formalities, that the companies here who have not paid up full amount of taxes or anything, and they'll come very hard for them. And it's even not convenient for them to work out with freelancers unless they have to change your visa to their visa. That's why some of them tell you that yes, we are giving you the job, but we are going to change your visa to our company visa. Do you accept, yes or no? If you accept, then it goes for you. But to me, I would say if it's a very good company, you find, and it's going to give you amount of money, you sacrifice. Because the benefits of working under a company, let us leave alone the bad companies, the good companies, the bad companies. The good companies, the benefits is that there's a lot of things that you've run away from. Accommodation rates, stress of visa, for QID, renew QID, do this vacation, I have to do this, I have to do the formalities, which is a quite. So I think that's a very good question that you've asked, and even me, I just find a lot of difficulties. They say freelancer visa, no. If unless he wants her to change to our visa, for which they may either give you little money or little salary for the start until they see how they work, they will say no, we don't need. We do not need. then you say, what can I do? I just have to leave it all and I just have to go off at the same time. But if you can get a good company that is going to recruit you and change your visa, you definitely, for this situation that we have, you leave alone the freelancing out, because even accommodation out is very expensive, everything is very expensive. You just agree. I think it's better than that. We get to agree, and you agree, change your visa, you save your money, and you move on. To even reduce on what you call the costs, the expenses, the accommodation, the transportation, the fatigue of looking for work, you get it off in this situation that we have. Yes, for one to change the status, for example, if you want to change your QID, I think your employer can change. It's only, I think, 400. You only need to pay 400. But for you to change, to modify what you call modify your profession, I think your employer has to do. And if, for example, you have a freelancer visa, you go back to that company, you tell them that you need to modify your profession. They will do it for you. They have the paperwork they will fill, and they will actually charge maybe between 400 to 500 to do the modification, and that is all, depending on the company. Those that will want to charge maybe 200, yeah, but I think it will be like around between that, from 200 to around 400, depending on which kind of profession that you have in your company, in your QID. And most times that what most companies have just got to notice. I was trying to talk to one of the human resource from, I will not mention the company, he will get mad at me. And actually, he said that most of the professionals in the freelancer visas, they are not their professions. So you find that someone who is recruited away from outside, let's say from your home country, to come here, you may find he may be paid a higher money compared you to the freelancer, because he's recruited directly. So they are just querying, unless you have papers for it to prove that you own that profession, then you can move on, look on the market. It will be much easier for you in any way. But you need between 200 and 500, depending on where you got that visa from. That's what I can tell you. Yes, actually, when you talk about the minimum wage is supposed to be 1,300. 1,300, that is 1,000 for 8 hours. If you're working for 8 hours, it is 1,000. Then the food allowance, which must be given to you, it is 300. Unless in your contract, you sign up something different. But as you come in, your contract, the minimum amount of money you are supposed to receive for 8 hours is supposed to be 1,300, which is 1,000 for the salary for 8 hours, and 300 what is called the food allowance. If you are going to work for 12 hours, that is another agreement. It may be between you and the employer. Something later on, I was advising people, if you are called for an interview and you have to discuss how much you need, don't talk about the basic salary. Talk about a block figure. Talk about your salary as a whole. Yes, most of us we've looked at basic salary will always be 1,000 and so. So employer, if you talk about what you call basic, he will be happy. That is the start of it, of the getting you expected in one or the other. But you talk about a block figure. So what you need to know is you have to have 1,300 for 8 hours. 1,000 plus 300 for what you call the food allowance. Although some companies may say we are going to provide with you food, which has to be lunch, which has to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 meals a day. Yes. Okay, my perspective advice for the future is to explore more opportunities. If there is room to learn more of the hands-on. Because we are in the world competing with English and Arabic. What is going to protect us is being variable, or being that person who can able to do work on hands-on. When we are in these companies, what we need to understand is that you need to explore a lot of things. When I was working as a security guard, I think I used to make sure I learn a lot of things away from what we are doing. And also, I used to make sure I network a lot and to explore the opportunities. So for us to stay in the market, we need to prove that we can be in the market, or we are more valuable in the market. But for this, we need to learn more things, we need to learn more hands-on to make sure that we can compete in the market and we can be valuable in the market of that of currently what is happening. I think that's, I'll just get into just on the basis of that. I wouldn't want to go into too much unless we go one-on-one. That's when I will tell you exactly what it is all. But I'll just leave it that to learn more things at hand, especially when we come. Because even here, coming here, modification, you have the paper, you need to ascertain the paper. After ascertaining your papers, let's say for example, you came with a degree, you need to ascertain the paper. After ascertaining the paper, you need to look more addition, which must be a certificate to add on what you have, which must be ascertained by the ministry, more certificates, which must be added for you to have something for yourself. But what I will let you know, Martin, learn more and more things. It's like in the field, when you're going to be a very good striker or a midfielder, you need to open up your eyes this side, left hand, and right hand. You look beyond yourself. If you are going to stay here for some time, and if you want to get a more salary compared to what you want, you have to open up and look things at far. And don't fear to get to tackle a lot of things, but move on. I don't fear challenges. I always want to see what I can get out of the challenge and what I can learn out of the challenge, which normally I definitely do. Okay? Right now I was telling someone that I'm coordinating some services, management services, coordination services. But it has just showed me a lot of things that we have to open up the networking, and we have to manage learning. We have to accept to learn more and more beyond what we hold within ourselves. If you want to survive and to be in the hands of these people, to understand, or the employer to understand that this person can add something to me, or can add something to me, to the company, at one of them. Then also resilience and being, you have to be productive in any way or the other. That's what I can let you know. Now, after expiration of the ID, it will depend. You are only given a grace period of 30 days to live in the country after your ID expires. But these are two situations. If the ID expires, when your employer has to renew that ID, it's not your fault. If you are still working at the company, it is the employer's fault. Because if the employer does not renew that ID in the 90 days, in the 3 months that is given, it's 90 days, those are 3 months, then that person is being penalized in case you are still working under that company. And you, the person, if you don't renew your ID after 3 months, the 90 days, that ID, then that means you will start getting to what we call the overstay. They will be calculating your ID as an overstay in case they get to to find out, or in case police gets to get you out. So most of the time it's very important for you to renew your ID within the first 3 months of your expire of that ID. So they normally give 3 months, you have to renew your ID. Past the 3 months, you get into overstay. Then if you've cancelled out, if you're being terminated by your employer or you've been terminated by your company, you have 30 days. In those 30 days, you have those 30 days to stay in the country. The only alternative that you have, it is to look up a new employer to give you offer letter and give you job. Once he gives you an offer letter, you get your termination letter plus your offer letter plus your photocopy of your ID. You'll submit directly to, you'll apply online. I'm telling you, for that it will be approved in 2 weeks or 3 weeks once you have the termination letter. So, but after 30 days, if you cannot get someone to give you job, you get into what you call overstay. Okay? And when you get into overstay, it becomes a concern for the government. Why? Because you become an insecurity. So normally companies are given 3 months, you have to renew your ID. That's why most of the times for people who have what you call freelancer visas, you need to know where your employer or where your offices of your company that has that visa are. Because once that person who gave you the visa runs away from you for 3 months and you cannot see him, the only option that you have is to exit the country. Otherwise, if you don't exit, you will be accumulating what you call the overstay, which will be going on your QID, and at the later of it all, it will be punishable and you will not be able to exit the country. The penalty, NSC has no penalty. That's if you talk to the perspective that your employer refused to give you an NOC. But again, something that you need to understand with NOC, that's the no objection certificate. It may not be mandatory for the company to give it to you. The company may refuse to give you an NOC. But what people don't understand, or what they fail to understand, yes, the company may refuse to give me an NOC, but I can use my resignation letter as my release letter. If you are resigning in that company, you draft a resignation letter in that company. If once you resign in that company, then you write a resignation letter, and you happen to get a chance that your manager or human resource can sign on that resignation letter, then you get a photocopy of that letter. You're already given a release, meaning that you are free to go and apply for a new job. Okay? But for some situation for NOC, I think it's still not much penalty. For the government, for the companies, they can decide to give you or not to give you an NOC. Again, then that one, the second amendment later, then the defaulters definitely, you have to pay. That's why I say you have to pay for it. You don't have to wait for trouble. When we come to these countries, we are given what we call an opportunity to come into this country. Whenever you go to a foreign country, it's an opportunity. Which is away from your country, it's an opportunity. But how do you make sure you can live with the opportunity that is being given you to enter that country or to stay in that country? By following the law. So some of these things, some of the small things that we can do, these companies may not want to know more about us, but you need to do what you call constant reminder all the time, that for you to so you find that is actually the problem that you need to do. So when you look at what you call the practical applicability of what you call the law, that second amendment letter of the employee for another organization else, it will depend on the organization if it has to give you that one. If it is not, But something that I want you to remind you is all about what we call the non-competing clause. Which company you are switching from? A cleaning company to another company which is dealing with the same kind of product. Then that's where the problem comes from. From a security company to another security company, they are dealing in the same service. From this one, you are taking to this one. They will not accept at one or the other. But you find that some of these companies have entered into what you call secondment agreements with some organization. Like for example, if it does not have what you call contracts, it will say, okay, give me your people, they will work for me for 6 months. Since you don't have contract, then after I'll return you back to these people. I'll return you back to these people to you. But you find that most of the penalty, most of the time, when you find the defaulters, you may not be too much affected unless that organization or the company that took over from another company wants to stay with you or wants to file anything against you. That's when the issue will come in. Okay? Then that also comes in if come with proof of what you sign. Okay? Okay, you get my number. My number is 50545282. 50545282. You give me a WhatsApp message, I'll get it, and I will see how we can definitely meet up and try to talk in a few one-on-one, and we see whether it can make us to move in one or the other. Okay, Martin, this is my first live, because I've been up and down, and the nature of work was not permitting me to do this. But I think I'll have to choose, like for example, we'll take up a Friday if it is quite okay, or I'll try to get a day and I'll try to let people when I'll always be live. I think I will take up Friday. I'll take up a Friday from between 7:30 or 7 until 9. That will be okay. So I'm going to be using the Fridays all the time. It will be a very good day that I can catch up with a few people. I think that will be work for me for Friday, and it will be very good because I'm off the heavy work. Hello. I always watch your videos even before we went on a long break. Yes. What do you want? Yes. There's a lot of things that was happening. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of assignments that I was given. What we call the trial assignments that you get to understand. And I don't speak Arabic. I speak English. So there was a lot of assignment trials that were given to me, and I had to accomplish them to prove to my employer that I can do the work, which is quite not very easy, especially when we are in the foreign lands. I had to move to Samara, Saudi Arabia. I went in for a conference, I went in for some work, I was returned back. Then I had to move to Oman. I went to Oman for some 5 days. I had got to do some work. They brought me back. So it was a little bit time of up and down, but Hopefully now I get to settle. As I get to settle in the new role, then definitely I'll be able to get back to the people and give the people exactly what we need to share out together. It pains me so much time that you see that now some people get to fall in trouble because of the small things that we can share out in one or the other. Someone, he works for a company or he works for an employer for almost 7 months, but he does not have a QID, which is quite upset. It may either be the fault of the employer, or at some time it may also be the fault of you, and say no. Since I'm getting salary, I'm not bothered with my QID. But remember, when you have your residence permit, your QID is one that's going to permit you and say you are uneligible resident to stay in the country. We've gotten into situations whereby some people don't have what we call healthy cards. It is something very small that a healthy card, so you can even get by yourself what we call a healthy card. It's only 100, getting your QID, and after you can get a health card. Yes, most employers may not coming in to be there for you, but also you as a person yourself, you have to make sure you push yourself for some of these things to get them, because most of these services here you can access them and you can have them at one or the other. Okay, sure, Martin, I'm going to do that. I'm going to organize another one such that people may come in and we try to see how we can share, and we can try to share some of these things. And we can also know where some opportunities are and how we can try to encroach into the market and do a few things that we can definitely share. Definitely, that's a very good advice, Martin, and I'm going to arrange that one. I'm going to sit down and arrange for that, and we can try to share a few people. So I need to go to analytics and know when the people are over online, and we try to share a few things, which is quite very good for you. Yes, I have a lot of stories to tell people, and I have a lot of things that I tell. And I want people to believe that you can change the job when you're in Qatar, and you can get a good job. But how to get it, how to go through the market, how to go through, how to persevere, I think it's quite very important that we need to share out, and we need to share. Yes, as Africans from Africa, we need to second ourselves, we need to move ourselves, we need to open up for one another, such that we can create a bond for one another to have the opportunities that are there at once. Okay. But most people are out there stranded. They are stranded with what you call visas, they are stranded out there, the jobs, contracts finish up. But we all came to look for money, and we still need to persevere and to think of, say, okay, tomorrow. And say, I think tomorrow, maybe tomorrow it will become tomorrow. So probably you find that we get into that, and it comes one time it gets off in one or the other. Yeah, thank you so much, Martin, for coming live. At least you've given me some power. Yes, you've given me some power today, and I really appreciate. Yeah, you've given me some power for almost 1 hour. You've been here, and I'm so happy, and I'm actually waiting for that time that I can have one-on-one. We can try to talk a few things. We can try to share. Yes, that's what we call friendship, and that's where we start, and we can know what definitely we need to do and what we can share, which is quite very important in one or the other. Most people were asking about the fines. Yes, the grace period for an expired Qatar ID is just 3 months. You renew ID without paying a fine. But remember, after that, you need to pay an overstay fine, which has to be 10 real per day. Remember, the time that you get overstay in the country, it has to be 10 real per day. That's what you call the fine for unexpired QID. Most people may look at it as something very small, but you find that the 10 real will accumulate, and by the time it gets to accumulate, you will find you have a lot of money with you, which you need to pay. 10 real for 10 days, you've gone into 100. Another 10 days, you've gone into 100. That's why sometimes you find that some people have ended up accumulating a lot of money, accumulating a lot of overstay in just a kind of way of what we call in a disguise situation, whereby they say it's just a small amount of money. Any money or any single note that we have to use here in a foreign country, it is accountable. So you find that it will cost a lot, it will cost a lot for that time. But the only advice that I will give people, for example, if you are under the company and your ID expires, yes, for you, you may be on the safer side in one or the other, because it's a fault of your company not to renew your ID. And if the company does not renew your ID in the 3 months, yes, the penalty goes to them in one or the other. But if you are a freelancer, then definitely you have to work so hard to make sure that your current company that in that visa, make sure that it can renew your ID, or it can renew it in one way very fast, such that you don't incur what we call the overstay penalties, which are quite very, very annoying, or which are kind of very expensive when you have to pay up, especially if they get to accumulate in big numbers. Most people ask a lot of questions regarding changing jobs. You have to change employer. What kind of procedure you have to follow? There's a lot of procedure to follow. But before even you look at following the procedure of changing, look for the company. Look for a genuine company. Know the company I'm going to. How much does the company want? How much does the company going to give me as salary? What mostly the Ministry of Labor considers is consider the non-conspiracy, what you call the non-competing clause, which kind of company we are going to, and how much does that company going to give you as salary, which is quite very important. If the company is going to give you 1,000 and you've been receiving 1,500, the ministry is not going to approve you. It's not going to approve. It will only approve that role that has a high amount of money compared to what you've been earning. So I think most people should get to know this and should get to learn this in one or the other. And most of people are applying for change of jobs online. The only best way for you to apply change of jobs online, it is between 7 to 2. By that time, the system on the Ministry of Labor is open. So when you want to send in your online application, it has to be from 7 to 2 p.m. That's when the working hours. And it has to be from Sunday until Thursday. Friday and Saturday, I think they are closed. So you have to wait for the next day, which has to be Sunday, and then you can open up and you can be able to check, or you can be able to apply for that online. Hi guys, I'm here. Please, can we have a little bit of chat? Can we have a little bit chat, guys? And remember, the work should always, that form of application is always submitted online. Okay. Then once the application is submitted, you will get what we call an EC number. That EC number will appear on the screen, or will confirm that your application has been received. So when you get that EC number, normally something I keep on advising people: if you change the company, if you sign a resignation letter to a company and you apply to another company, once you get that EC number, your former company will never file a case against you in Mexcreation, because already you are in the ministry, and already the ministry is aware that you applied for change of work. So you find that most of the times why these applications may be rejected, once you fill out the applications, wrongly. Remember, the applications to the Ministry of website that you have to submit must be filled up in what we call Arabic. It must be filled up Arabic. That's why most of the times it is either the employer or someone else that does the filling for you. When you go to these typing centers, yes, they will take 10 real out of you or 20 real out of you. They will fill it out in Arabic and they will give you, or they will give you to submit online, or you will scan and submit online. That's what we call the procedure for what we call the electronic system. Remember, if you don't complete the form well, then the form will be rejected. And once the process, if it is either processed well, you will get what we call an SMS with you. And if the SMS comes, it will either give you pending or approved, and they will give you what you call the notice period for you to serve. And after all, you will get to move in one way or the other. But the mistake that still you need not to make, once you get the message, serve the notice period. If they say stay with the former or the former company, or with your current company right now, or for 2 months, you have to serve the notice period. Until the end of the notice period, then you can move on. The new company can ascertain a new contract for you. If you are going to work in what you call government organization, then they will require of you what you call the police clearance certificates. For people who want to change jobs and want to work in government sector or government SMEs, you have to go to the police clearance certificate. That's why normally I keep on telling people, especially when we go to back to our countries, it's better every time you go to vacation, you get a police clearance. Apply for police clearance because it's not very expensive. Depending on which kind of company you're coming from, which country, apply for police clearance. When you are coming to the country, ascertain it from the country, then come with it. Every time you go for vacation, you renew your police clearance, get a new one, ascertain it, have stamped by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in your country, come with it. It will be much easier. We've gotten into a scenario where you need a police clearance, but it becomes very expensive for you. How? Because it takes a lot. For you to get a police clearance here, for Qatar police clearance, you need to first get a police clearance back from your country, which must be ascertained by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in your country, which again must be brought here and ascertained by what you call the embassy, which represents your country. So all those kind of formalities, for you to get out of those formalities, when you go for vacation, get a new police clearance. It may be 70 riyal. Don't take 70 riyal to be too much. Spend it, get a police clearance. As you are returning to the country, come with it in your bag, and it is fully ascertained by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in your country. Because you will need it here. The time you will need it here, it will be much easier for you. You just get your police clearance, you get it off, and that is all. You have it, and you've gone it out of the hassle. Other than using DHL to get a police clearance for you, to get this one, to get out this one, to get out this one, you find it to be so little bit tedious, and it becomes a little bit costly in one or the other, which you may also not need it in one way or the other, which is something that you understand is going to cost you a lot. So some of these small vital documents, you should have them, you should move with them. Especially people go for vacation. I don't know, they do a lot, they forget about these documents. When they come this side, they remember they need the document, and you need to hire someone to bring you the document. You need to go in 2 costs, you need to go in 2 expenses, and yet those expenses you would have got them off yourself or off of your neck once you did this one for yourself. So me, what I do every time I go for vacation, I need to get a police clearance for my country, which I must come with it here. In case it is needed urgently for any matter, I can just prove it out, and I can have it, and I can give it to get a police clearance. Remember, you can never get a police clearance of Qatar unless you have a police clearance from your home country. Someone asked me a question about the payment. The payment here are done through what you call the YPS. YPS, that is the wage protection system. It is the means they are using to pay the workers. That's why you find most of the companies, they will open up what we call a bank account for you. When they open up a bank account for you, they will give you that ATM card. Once they give you that ATM card, it's what you're going to use to receive your salary. So that system is what we call the YPS system. That's the wage protection system. And now, what is happening now that you can go online and you can download what you call your salary certificates. What was happening before, would have a lot of complaints whereby my salary has not been paid for this couple of times and you have no proof. Because remember, when you go to these ATM machines, we withdraw, we are so much excited to get off with the receipts. You cannot compile them all at once for maybe, for example, one full year. So what the ministry is doing now, every time your company submits a salary to you, to your account, it will be captured in what we call the wage protection system. So when you go to the ministry, when you go to the online, for you can download what you call your salary certificate. Remember, when you download your salary certificate, you can use it for another official document. You can use it to get a loan. In case it is in your country and people are too much on you that they need money, you can still possess it, that I'm being paid salary and I'll pay up the loan. So it's also quite understandable, and that is one thing that people definitely also need to understand. Then the contract, the contract is also very, very good for you. Yes, these are official documents that you can use here. You can use to embassy, you can use to anyone, even if you are applying a visa to another country. You can just download it here. I've been working and I'm working, and this is I'm paid. I'm eligible and I can pay. MI is a Minister of Interior. Yes. MOI, Martin, is Minister of Interior. Minister of Interior is the one that's responsible for all this immigration, issuing QID, all the visas in one way or the other. That's what we call the Ministry of Interior. Minister of Interior responsible for entry and exit of all residences in the country. When it comes documentations, all under what we call the Ministry of Interior, but it will have what we call subsequent departments in entry. So any permission for anyone to come into the country has to get permission, or his permission has to go through what we call the Ministry of Interior, which is for security of entry and exit and registration of everyone that comes into the country. I was trying to talk to one person and he was talking about what you call opening up a bank account here. Yes, in Qatar you can open up a bank account. It's okay, you can open up, but you need to have what you call a minimum salary for you to own a bank account of yourself in Qatar here. Your salary must be either the minimum salary, it has to be 5,000. It has to be 4,000 minimum, 4,000 and above for you to own a bank account. That's why when you see in the companies, not everyone owns a bank account. It is the company that opens up an account on behalf of the employee, and they will only issue with you what you call with a QI or a banker card that you can use in the ATM to withdraw. But most of these still ATM card, we cannot use them. There are some limits that we definitely use it. We cannot use for other purchases. So they are being limited because it's that account does not belong to you. The account belongs to the company, but you are a subsequent of that company to receive what we call the salary. It's one of the procedure, the requirement for you to get into what we call the wage protection system. Okay, hi guys, thank you so much for today. I think it was a lovely day. I would start up from here, like here. Martin, thank you so much. Every single day. We live in a kind of life we never have to give up, especially when it comes to these Gulf countries. We face a lot of challenges. People who may not know the kind of challenges we are getting through every single day. We have sleepless nights, overworking, working earnings from end. I think that's once we'll talk about some of those cardinal reasons why we came here, but also it's better we also open up ourselves. We need to improve ourselves. We need to open up every single day. We need to welcome that opportunity that comes. An opportunity that comes to us, it comes with what you call a challenge, but out of that challenge is you definitely get to learn a lot of things and you get to pick out a lot of things from there. And you get to definitely know how to deal with every kind of situation. Networking is kind of very important here, and versatile, knowing which kind of company, it's also very important. Remember, the personal health is also very important for ourselves. Yes, if the company does not give you a healthy card, the healthy card is only 100 riyal. Get your QID, go to the Hamad Medical Corporation, any nearest medical corporation to Hamad, pay 100 riyal, get a healthy card for you. This is for your safety. The usage of a healthy card is the benefits that it helps you to get subsidized even medicine. Surgery, checkups are free of charge. You don't have to spend a lot. Mental health, what we call, you don't need to pay a lot if you have a healthy card. Other than going to what we call private hospitals. Private hospitals are a little bit very costly, especially if your salary is very low. Why do you get into that hassle and you can get a healthy card at 100? The only trick I'll give you, what I used to do, is at the moment my healthy card got expired, I'll go and renew the expired healthy card, I'll get a receipt, then I'll send to my company or to the human resource that I use this money to renew my health card, and they will pay me back. So remember, in these companies we are over 500 to 600 people. They are not going to look at only one person every single day. They have a lot of things to work out, much as they gave you the visa to come. But you as yourself, also it will begin with you. You can also do something for yourself to make sure that you can move on and you can make your life move in one way or the other. Someone said, yes, you can check for your what you call your ban. In case you have a case against your QID, yes, when you open Metrash, you can definitely check it and you will get it without and you find it. So most of the people who are going for vacation, make sure that as you are exiting the country, make sure that you first check your ID. Check whether you have a travel ban, check whether you have a case to pay up, check up you have pending things to pay up before you go to the airport. Because as soon as you go to the airport and you are going from there, definitely going to pay up in dollars, which is going to be very very expensive. So it's better you clear up everything when it's still early before you can plan on what you call exiting into the country. Hope it was a lovely day. Thank you so much. From 7 o'clock until 8:12, at least for the first day. Let's just try to see how better we can move on. We can have this live. We can try to see more people coming on board, asking a lot of questions, and we can get to share up in one way or the other. Okay, I'll share up a link. Then probably we can see how we can get. Martin, thank you so much for the day. I can't wait for that day. We can meet one-on-one and we get to share up a few things. Okay, thank you so much, guys. See you again. I get to do another work and do. Thank you so much. See you again, guys.